A consumer has a utility function u of x comma y in terms of x and y, that is y root x. Answer the given sub-question for this consumer. Choose the correct alternative. Be careful about this question because sometimes they ask incorrect also. So choose the correct alternative. There are 4 options. Which one is the correct answer? So the consumer has a utility function. So given utility function x comma y, x and y are two goods. X and y are two goods in terms of y root x. The first option is the consumer believes that more is better for each good x and y. The consumer believes that more is better for each good x and y. When the consumer believes that more is better. When the consumer believes that more is better. When means when the consumer believes that the utility increases with increases with the good x or y. That is the utility of the good increases. Either the good is x or y and hold the other good constant. So for example, x equal to milk, so y equal to bread. If the utility of the good x increases, that is ux increases when the milk is increasing. Milk equal to x. So milk increases, the utility of the milk is also increasing. The y is constant. Holding the y, bread is constant. This consumer believes that more is better when the utility of the good x or y, when there are two goods x or y, the utility of the good x or the utility of the good y, uy are increasing when holding the other good constant. That is mux, marginal utility of x equals to dou by dou x of given utility function is y root x. Y root x, that equals to y is constant 1 by 2 root x, that equals y by 2 root x. Marginal utility of y equals to dou by dou y of y root x, that equals to y is constant, that is root x. When mux is greater than 0, if x is greater than 0 or y is greater than 0, increasing, that is root x also increasing, increasing, mux also increasing. It is x greater than 0, y greater than 0, and mux is also greater than 0, and muy is also greater than 0. So the utility function is also increasing. So this consumer believes that more is better for each good x and y. So option A is correct. Why he believes that more is better means if x greater than 0, y greater than 0, mux greater than 0, muy greater than 0, utility function also increasing. That is more is better for each good x and y. So in this, if x increasing, root x also increasing, that is muy also increasing. If y increasing, that is y greater than 0, root x is greater than 0, mux is also increasing. So for this question, first option is correct. And second option, why it is not wrong. The marginal utility of the good x is independent of x. So the marginal utility of x equals to, so marginal utility of x equal to y by 2 root x is dependent on both y and x. That is, it depends on the values of, that is mux in terms of y and root x. So it is dependent on both the goods y and x. So in this option B, the utility of the marginal utility of the good x, that is mux, is independent, is not wrong, is wrong, is dependent. So this option is not correct. Coming to option C, both this consumer believes that more is better for each good x and y. This is correct, up to this is correct. And the marginal utility of the good x is independent of x, and marginal utility of good y is independent of y. This is wrong. So coming to MUY equals to root x. In this, MUY is independent of y. Y is independent of y. Up to this one is correct, but x is independent of x is wrong. So this option is correct. None of the options is also wrong because the first option is correct. Question, choose the incorrect alternative. Very important. Remember, incorrect, which are not correct. From these two questions are interconnected questions. So here utility function u of x comma y equal to y root x. So first option is why it is wrong. The consumer's preferences exhibit a diminishing marginal utility of a x. So from this question, marginal utility of x equal to mux equal to y by 2 root x. That is utility function dash of x. That is differentiation. That is dou u of x comma y by dou x. If u double dash of x equals to, again we differentiating this equation, that is y by 2 root x with respect to x, that equals to, with respect to x, y by 2 is constant, 1 by root x equal to minus 1 by root x, that is differentiation of x with respect to x power minus 1 by 2. So u double dash of x is minus y by 4 x power minus 3 by 2, which is less than 0, that is diminishes. So MUY equals to u dash of y equal to root x, and u double dash of y equals to 0. That is differentiation with respect to y, so it is 0. This is constant. Check the each option. Okay, the consumer preferences exhibit a diminishing marginal utility. What is meant by diminishing marginal utility? Diminishing means decreasing, that is false. False or decreasing. Decreasing, what is this decreasing? Utility function u is decreasing as the consumption of the good increasing, that is the consumption of the good increasing. That is for example, is false, decreasing when the consumption of the good, that is x, is increasing. That is diminishing marginal utility of x. Diminishing marginal utility of x. If the utility of the function good y is decreasing, if the consumption of the good y is increasing, that is diminishing marginal utility of the y. Of x equal to y by 2 root x. So marginal utility of y equals to root x. So what is diminishing marginal utility of x? Equals to the utility function u of x decreasing when value of x is increasing. That is the consumption of good x increasing. So from this equation, if the value of x increasing, that is root x also increasing, only the consumption of good x, particular value, not y, x increasing, so that is denominator. So the denominator value, this value increasing, so numerator mux, marginal utility of x, decreasing. So this exhibits diminishing marginal utility of x. Yes, it exhibits. This is correct. What is about the diminishing marginal utility of y? That is the utility of the y is false or decreasing when the consumption of the good y increasing. That is in muy equals to root x. If increasing the y, muy does not affect. So this is not a diminishing marginal utility. Only this exhibits x. So go to the options. Exhibit a diminishing marginal utility of x. Which options are the incorrect? They are asking about incorrect. Very important, remember. But this is the correct option. So next option, the consumer preference exhibit a diminishing marginal utility of y is not correct. That is incorrect. This is incorrect. Next one is both these consumer preferences exhibit a diminishing marginal utility of x, and this consumer, not both. Both is wrong. So this option is both these consumer preferences exhibit a diminishing marginal utility of x, and the consumer preferences exhibit a diminishing marginal utility of y. Both is wrong. Only one option is correct. This is also incorrect statement.